this is Cat's Diamond Painting. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've joined me here before. I am here today to do a WIP and Chat. I thought I haven't done one of these for a while, so it'd be nice to do one to kind of round out the year, catch you up on how my December's been going. It's the last day of school for my son today, so he finishes this afternoon and then he is home for almost 3 weeks, which is baffling to me because I'm sure the Christmas holidays are supposed to be 2 weeks. So I've got to figure out some things to do with him. And I thought this is probably the last good opportunity I'll have to do this kind of video for a bit. So I would crack on and do this today. So let me try and get myself set up a bit more. So yeah, I'm going to use today this tray, which I showed on... No, actually, I haven't shown this yet. So I'm doing this a little bit back to front because I thought I'd put this WIP and Chat up on Friday. But then I'm actually showing you a couple of things that are in my next small shop haul, which I was going to put up next week. So I may need to think about switching those around. But yeah, I'm using this tray and various other accessories here that are also in that. So yeah, I'm going to switch these around. You're going to be seeing this next week now in between Christmas and New Year. And I will put my small shop showcase up on Friday. So yeah, ignore all my ramblings there as I work things out in real time. But yeah, I'm going to get going. And I've been working on Myrtle Ho 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 from Diamond Art Club recently, but I didn't want to take it off my easel, to be honest. I was being a bit lazy because it's all set up on my easel and I just didn't want the hassle of having to take it off and set it up again. So I thought that I would just get out Hugs for Hiccup again, which I don't think I have worked on since the last time I did a WIP and Chat with you. So I can just get a little bit of this done today because I would really love to have this one done. And if you're wondering why I've got random number stickers on these, it's because I was originally doing this as a series on TikTok, a kind of pick your number series. Oh, that light is too much glare, isn't it? Let's see if I can get that adjusted. So yeah, I was doing it like that, and then I wasn't really ever working on it because I just wasn't enjoying it. So I just decided to... Oh dear, that is not good at all, is it? Okay, I'll just move that to the side and ignore it. So yeah, I decided that I would just crack on and do it, but then I'm not actually getting around to doing it. But that's mainly because it is Christmas and I've been wanting to work on Christmas and wintry pieces. So I have got the pen that I just showed you in my small shop showcase. Absolutely. So this is from Norse Alchemist. And I've got a little tray here. Oh, I've got my trinket tray that was also in that. I've got this loaded with Christmas candy putty. So this is my own putty, but I sell it through Diamond Art Studio, and I don't actually sell this scent in the shop. And this was my testing putty when I made sure it was working okay before I sent it off to them. But I've been really enjoying it, so I keep coming back to use it. Okay, let's crack on. So I haven't worked on a round kit in what feels like ages. It's been a really long time. Everything's been squares for a while. I think it might be the Halloween gnome one that I did in September even. Now this tray, I have been using the past couple of days. Oh, I think that single placer actually needs more putty. I have been using this tray for the past couple of days on a square painting, and it's fine. It's not really beating other trays that I have for squares because, because it's like the ridges are just a tiny bit too big. So they don't line up perfectly. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to do that on a flatter surface. They don't line up perfectly. They wiggle round, and then I have to kind of jam them against the edge. But I thought it would be really good to use it with this one because I think it actually does line up rounds really nicely. And actually I'm okay with that because I've got lots of trays that deal with squares well, but I don't have many that deal with rounds. So that suits me okay. I can just pull this one out when I'm working on rounds. And it wasn't bad with squares, it just, you know, it wasn't my best. And I'm the kind of person who likes to try all the things, but then I do tend to come back to my favourites more often than not. So, what's been going on? I've had that sense all month of things kind of winding down for Christmas. And yet I've been really struggling to get into a kind of Christmassy mood. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's part age, it's part, you know, my son being a little bit older now, and, you know, that changes Christmas for you, doesn't it? When certain beliefs change. But yeah, I think the main thing is it's his birthday in the middle of November. So every year I'm like, well, I'm not even going to think about Christmas until his birthday is out of the way, because I've got to focus on getting his birthday out of the way. And then once his birthday is in fact out of the way, I don't immediately want to launch into Christmas. And then suddenly I'm like, oh, it's December and I haven't done anything for Christmas. So yeah. I think I've also been quite reflective this month because I've got a big birthday coming up in January. I'm going to be 40 and I don't feel the best about it, I've got to be honest. Yeah, 30 was okay. I just had my son when I was 30 and I was in that new baby glow. And, you know, things were good. And it's not that things aren't good now, things are fine, but I don't have a massive distraction like that, I guess, to stop me thinking slightly, I don't know, not morbid, but like realistic thoughts about getting older and what that means. And I just feel like there's a big difference in how it sounds, you know, 30 something, I feel like I can say I'm young. And 40 something, I'm like, I'm not old, but I'm sort of middle-aged. I had this discussion with my sister recently, who is older than me, all my siblings are. So she had a vested interest in her position, if you ask me. But I said, when you're 40 something, you're middle-aged. And she said, no, you're not middle-aged, not a 40 something. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. We'll agree to disagree. But yeah, that's probably been weighing on me a little bit this month. And then there's just been, you know, all the busyness, because however un-Christmassy I felt, things still needed to get sorted. So yeah, I've been trying to get myself as organised as possible. Getting all my presents in, figuring out what to get for my husband, because, yeah, we've been together a long time and it gets hard. Some years I have good ideas. Last year, I feel like I knocked it out of the park because, well, this is going to sound crazy, but basically we have a long running joke, and I say we, it's really him, and my son and I just tolerate it. But every year he claims that he is going to get me a house wolf, which is obviously a thing he's invented, and he will make all kinds of noises about pretending he's got me a house wolf. So last year I actually had the idea to commission an artist, and I asked for recommendations in various Facebook groups, and people recommended someone, and I found this person in the US who would do me a digital piece. So I basically commissioned a piece of the three of us in our house, and there's this giant house wolf, and actually our cat Xander's in it as well. No Harry, because he wasn't around yet. And there's my son and I looking horrified, and then my husband just looking absolutely delighted. I'll try and put a picture of it up now because it was very cool. So yeah, I got that for him last year, but this year I have not had any inspiration, and I haven't had any inspiration for his birthday either, because he's 40 a few days after I am. So yeah, I've got him some bits and bobs, but nothing very exciting this year, I don't think. I have been taking a bit more time for myself this month as well. I've been taking more time in the evenings to diamond paint. I go through phases. I mean, I always diamond paint because it is my hobby and my stress relief, but more importantly, if I'm making putty for the shop, I test every batch. So I use each batch of putty, you know, a sample from each batch of putty that I make for a certain amount of time that I feel like for me is a good amount of time that I expect a putty to reasonably last. And I just use it and make sure that it is behaving completely as normal. And to be honest, I can normally tell quite quickly if anything is different with it. But yeah, I try and test it as thoroughly as I can, depending on time. But obviously, in an ideal world, I have more time to diamond paint than just that. So I have been, well, it depends how you look at it. I have been better at making time for my hobby recently. It has probably come at the expense of some things that are healthy, like sleep, because I'm not the best sleeper. So, oh, I missed some of that W up there and some of the N. It's like different sections of colours. So yeah, I'm not very good at doing both. If I get into diamond painting for the evening, I tend to stay downstairs far later than I should, because I'm not someone who can get into bed and just quickly go to sleep. I do kind of need to be in bed and rest and relax for a while. So if I don't even make it into bed till late, I know I'm not going to get to sleep very early. But yeah, it sort of swings and roundabouts. I can't do it all, because if I really prioritise getting sleep, then I don't really have time to diamond paint much. So I've been cracking on, trying to get through Myrtle. I do also have another sort of Christmas WIP on the go, which is I Choose You from Diamond Art Studio. But I ended up switching to Myrtle a few weeks ago because I thought Myrtle is more inherently Christmassy to me. And I'm someone who likes to work on pieces when they're seasonal. So I Choose You, it's got a Christmas tree in it, but it's not, I don't know. In my head, it's more winter rather than specifically Christmas. So it's like I can finish that one after. I wanted to have them both done by Christmas, but it's not happening. So I thought I can finish that one afterwards, but I'll get Myrtle done in the run up to Christmas. So yeah, I've been making good progress with Myrtle, but you know, I'm not the world's fastest diamond painter. It does take me a while, and I'm still not sure I'm going to get it done before I go away for Christmas. But anyway, I'm rambling. So yeah, I've been pretty tired recently as a result of poor or good life choices, depending on your perspective of what to prioritise. I do need to get some more sleep though. I've been struggling for motivation, you know. It's not ideal. And Harry as well. I mean, if you've missed previous videos and you don't know who Harry is a kitten that was abandoned in September just down the road from us, and we adopted him. And he is adorable. I love him to bits, but he is quite a pain at night, because every night, usually about 5, half 5 in the morning, he decides he wants snuggles and he misses me, which is lovely. But he arrives purring very, very loudly, and then he wants to come in the bed, but he doesn't want to be under the covers because he finds that too hot. So I have to rearrange the duvet so it keeps me warm and him not too warm. And then he likes to drape himself over my neck and dribble. He's very dribbly. I looked it up and it might be teething, but it might also just be him, because apparently some cats do that when they're happy. And this does usually happen when he's like purring furiously in the bed with me. So I assume he's happy. And then sometimes if I'm lying on my front, he'll just sort of sit on my head at the back. And he purrs and he dribbles, and it's all very cute and adorable. But when it's every night, yeah, it starts to have a bit of an impact on sleep. He tends to wake up my husband as well. Even though he doesn't go to him, he just purrs that loudly. And then my husband can't get back to sleep. I normally do get back to sleep, but it's having that disruption every night that isn't ideal. But what can you do? And I'm aware there are things I could do. Like I could shut him out of the room, but I don't want to do that if I have, unless I absolutely have to. Because apart from anything, the layout of our house makes that a little tricky. So I think it would be hard to do it in a way where we weren't just as disturbed by cats clawing at the bedroom door. But also I don't want to shut him out. It's just I want to be able to sleep through his shenanigans. I need to train myself. But we're going away for Christmas in 3 days. So soon he will be disturbing my cat sitter at night instead of me. She loves it though. We have an amazing cat sitter who we book whenever she's free if we're away. And she often stays with them overnight. She won't stay every night over Christmas, but she will stay quite a few nights. And yeah, she absolutely loves my cats. So I know that they're in safe hands when I leave them with her. So what else? What have I been doing? A couple of weekends ago, I went to Bristol to meet up with my family. We have a bit of a family tradition. Well, we were talking about this when we were there. My sister said, oh, I always say to people that we always do this and we've always done it. But then we worked out we only started doing it in about 2018. No, I think we did 3. So we must have gone 2017, 2018, 2019. And then we haven't been since then, because what we basically do is go and do a pub crawl. My dad really likes the pubs in Bristol. So yeah, we all get over there and then we just go and have a few drinks in a few pubs and catch up. My mum didn't come this year because she felt a bit too exposed, because for them it meant getting the train over to Bristol and then obviously being in busy pubs. And she was worried because she's recently had another COVID infection and it really knocks her for 6. And, you know, we are a family who still does take that pretty seriously. I had reservations myself going around pubs, but at the end of the day, I really didn't want to miss out on an experience with my family. So I went, but my husband and son actually drove me over there, so I didn't have to do a train. And then they had a kind of daddy and son day out in Bristol, so that worked out really nicely. But anyway, we went and no one seems to have caught anything nasty from it. And yeah, just had a nice day catching up, going around, seeing all my dad's favourite places and all that kind of thing. I mean, the others, I think my brother and sisters do pay far more attention to the actual places that we went than me, because they'll kind of drink real ale and that kind of thing. I just sit and have a bit of wine in each place. It kind of doesn't make much difference to me what pub we're in. But yeah, we had a lovely catch up. They were all telling me how they sometimes watch my channel, which made me cringe because I just feel really awkward about it. It's like blurring the lines between real life and YouTube in a way that took me a long time to be ready to even tell people that I did this. For a long, long time, it was only my husband that knew I did this. And then I think it was after I hit 1,000 subscribers and I felt like, okay, I should tell people. So I told them then, but my brother was telling me he'd been watching it and I was like, no. I mean, thank you for the support, but no. So if any of you are watching this now, because they did say, oh, you're going to talk about us on our Bristol trip, aren't you? And I was like, yeah. Yeah, if any of you are watching, hi, but, you know, stop it. Oh, dear. So that was one weekend. I've been quite busy all the weekends in December, because last weekend we then went to my husband's family. Because we alternate each year which family we're with for Christmas, and this year it's the year when we go spend actual Christmas with my family. So on the years that we do that, we tend to go the weekend before Christmas to my husband's family to do Christmas with them. So that is what we did. And one of his brothers was there with partner and children. The other one was not, because they're going to his wife's family in Scotland for Christmas, like at some point this week. So they were going to stop off at my in-laws' house this week. But to be honest, now everyone's had kids. We don't all fit in the house together anymore anyway. So yeah, we couldn't really all have stayed. Hopefully in the future we'll figure that out. But yeah, we had a lovely time. I wasn't sleeping well. I arrived tired and I wasn't sleeping well. So I have to say I was really struggling. Saturday was our kind of like Christmas. I mean, we weren't trying to do a real Christmas, you know, we weren't exchanging presents and that kind of thing. But we're just spending the day together as a family. Everyone went for a walk and I just said to my husband, I don't think I can go. I need to lie down and rest. Oops. So I did. But then in the evening, you know, we had a sort of, well, we had a Christmas roast dinner, but it wasn't the full shebang. And then we played a game called the Logo Link game, which, well, normally we play that one in particular because my son likes it and feels he can join in, but he actually got bored and left halfway through on this occasion. But yeah, always nice to catch up with family. I'm just looking ahead now to Christmas with my family, which is going to be busy. This video will probably go up around the time we're coming back from there. So it will all already have happened, but just to kind of give you the gist of all the things we have on. So we're going to Cardiff, where my parents and sisters live, on Saturday. And we will stay, sorry, I'm just trying to work out where a certain colour is. I have a few colours just in bags in the lid of this storage case, and I think maybe the colour I'm looking for is one of those, because I don't see it. Oh, and as soon as I found them all, I saw it amongst the pots, so yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, so we're going to my parents' house on Saturday, the 23rd. We're going to be staying with my parents throughout, but my parents aren't actually hosting Christmas because it's getting a little bit much for them. They're getting a bit older. We always used to have Christmas Day and also, in fact, our Boxing Day +1 party, as we call it, because we always used to like having a break on Boxing Day and then having another bash the next day. So we used to always do both of those at my parents' house, but now my sisters are hosting. So we'll be staying with my parents, but then one sister is having us over for Christmas Day and the other sister is having us over for Boxing Day bash, except it's Boxing Day +2 this year because of when my brother could get off work. So the whole family will be there on Boxing Day +2. But on Christmas Day, it will be one sister, her family, me and my family and my parents. So it'll be a little bit quieter. My son will probably be in a grump because that means his favourite cousin isn't around, but he'll be happy enough. It's Christmas, eh? And then, yeah, hopefully have time to catch up with some people while we're in Cardiff because we're there for 6 nights, which is longer than we would typically get back for Christmas. I've just reached out to an old friend today that I haven't seen in a few years to see if she's home. Hoping to meet up with a very good friend who I met through diamond painting, who lives fairly near. You know who you are. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good Christmas. What's everyone else up to over Christmas? Have you got any lovely plans? Again, I've just remembered I'm going to be putting this up next week, aren't I? So how was your Christmas? Tell me about your Christmas. How did your plans go? Yeah, I'm all in a muddle. You couldn't tell. I'm not with it at the moment. I'm really sort of behind on life admin and everything like that as well. I'm not with it. I don't do well with tiredness, and yet I seem to exist in a permanent state of tiredness. So, yeah. Maybe that should be my resolution for me at 40 is to get better at that. Finding that balance. Yeah. But yeah, I'm so behind on various things, like the washing is beating me. I'm really behind on all of that. Well, I've been making progress this week, getting ready for going away. Kind of when I've got the motivation of things like going away, it pushes me to do it. But before that, I was very behind on it. I haven't started packing to go away at all. Mind you, I don't normally do that till we actually go. I just sort of have a list and sort of wake up at night thinking, oh, I mustn't forget this, and you know, put it on my list so I can clear it out of my brain, or I'd never sleep. Anyone else do that? Anxiety. Yeah, so there's that, and I just, Cooking is the thing that really beats me when I'm tired, because if I'm not feeling run down, I quite like to cook. I like to cook interesting foods for us. We, as a household, have quite varied diets because my husband is a vegetarian and my son and I are not. Mainly through fussiness. I would love to be vegetarian, but I struggle with various foods as it is. So it's a long-term plan to try and make that switch. But yeah, so making interesting foods for all of us, where I'm usually preparing 2 different sorts of main, unless it happens to be vegetarian food that we all like, is interesting. But yeah, there's times when I'm really into that and really enjoying coming up with different things. Oh, of course, there's a couple up there that I spot just at that point. But look at that, I tipped exactly the right amount out. But yeah, recently it's just a struggle. And I have to keep remembering to go easy on myself, because in previous years at this point, I haven't been working. And obviously now I have the shop. And things have been a little quieter with the shop. I mean, not problematically so. I just mean it was crazy busy when I had things like the Advent coming out and all my Christmas releases. And now it's just sort of normal busyness. But yeah, that is work that this time last year I wasn't doing. So that's a lot of it, but it's also just, yeah, if I'm not tired, I can do all that stuff. When I'm tired, I lose all motivation. And then we don't necessarily eat very healthily, or I reach for very quick and easy things. And it all gets a bit boring. I'm hoping that my husband will do a bit more of the cooking for a little bit, because he's now basically off until January. He works in the university nearby, and it's not term time, and he normally just doesn't do his other work really around Christmas, so that he can have a proper break. But also, he's been through his busiest part of the academic year, so next term and the following term, he will have a little more time to help me out with that kind of thing as well, because it's just nice if I can know that a couple of nights a week I don't have to deal with it, you know, and he can actually plan some food and tell me what he needs and take care of, you know, the mental load part of it as well, because I struggle with that, you know, just coming up with what to cook and what we would all enjoy is as much effort sometimes, it feels, as the actual cooking. Wowza, I went off on a tangent there, huh? Oh dear. I feel like I'm painting really slowly as well. What else have I been doing? I met up with a good friend last week, Claire over at Diamond Painting Nerd. So it's only the second time we've met in person, but she only lives about half an hour away from me. So it was nice to catch up. If you haven't found her channel yet, then you should definitely go check her out. Yeah, we sat and we had lunch. She got stuff in to do a sort of afternoon tea. So we had some sandwiches and then scones, although Tesco had let her down and not sent the clotted cream for the scones, so we had to have butter. Very disappointing. All Tesco's fault, not Claire's. I did take all my diamond painting things because we thought we'd sit and diamond paint together, and that would have been lovely, but we actually just didn't get around to it. We just sat and chatted instead. So that was lovely. Hopefully I'll be able to see her again in the new year. She's had some health issues, which I won't go into here because it's not my place to tell her story, but she has shared on her own channel and Instagram if you want to kind of find out what I'm talking about. So yeah, she's been going through a rough time. So, you know, we chatted about that a bit. But she is, yeah, she's really good company. What else have we done? We did our kind of annual trip to this Christmas barn near us the other day. Well, we had this plan on Friday that we were going to go do that and do our toy donation, which is something that we like to do at this time of year, is to go buy a few toys and then donate them to the kind of charity drives that are then going to distribute them to households where maybe kids might not have so much to wake up to on Christmas morning. So we planned to do that and then go to the Christmas barn. But then the traffic was so bad. We waited at home thinking, you know, like maybe it'll get better, but it didn't get better. And then we realised we just did not have time to do both those things and still get home at a sensible time. So in the end, we just went and did the toy pickup. And then Monday, just now, we did the Christmas barn. So all it is, really, is a barn that sells Christmas things. They sell trees. I don't know what they do the rest of the year. Maybe they're literally not open because it is called the Christmas barn. They have reindeer. So we go and admire the reindeer and try and work out which one's which from the descriptions and their little name plates. Two of them had a baby this year actually, but we couldn't work out which one it was because there wasn't one that was noticeably smaller. Like topping up our reindeer facts as well. Like, like, did you know that male reindeer generally have lost their antlers by this time of year? It's the female reindeer that have their antlers at this time of year because they shed them at different points. I can't remember when the females do, but yeah, the males had quite scraggy looking antlers where they were clearly about to come off any time. And then the barn itself is a shop, so a lot of people go and buy their Christmas trees there. We actually don't have a Christmas tree this year, which is a bit sad, but we just figured with Harry, who is an absolute menace in everything, and then the fact we're not actually here for Christmas anyway, that it was more pain than it was worth. We've obviously put up other decorations. We've got lights and tinsel all around the place, and my husband had me order some sort of dangly things to go from the ceiling, which isn't put up yet. And it's the 20th of December, so it remains to be seen whether it was actually worth buying those this year. But yeah, so I went around there. I had a couple of friends I wanted to pick up gifts for, and I did manage to find things. In the past, when we did have a tree, we tended to pick out a really nice tree ornament each. So a bit sad not doing that, but never mind. And then on the way to and from the Christmas barn, we drive through this little village called Besselsley. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And basically, there must be some sort of agreement between the people who live there, because every single house in Besselsley is decorated with just enormous amounts of Christmas lights. And it's just, yeah, you drive through the village at snail's pace, just gawping at it all, because it's really cool. It must cost an absolute fortune, given the price of electricity these days. Mind you, judging by the size of the houses, let's just say I don't think that the people of Besselsley are too hard up. But yeah, that's fun. My son was really looking forward to that bit in particular. Oh, I've missed more of those up there. I'm not doing a good job of picking out all the colour drills that I need to work on. Come on. So this tray is lining the drills up really nicely. I like the spout because it's a good shape to actually go in my pots for, you know, ease of getting things. But it doesn't necessarily pour them out the best. They do seem to get a little bit stuck. So I don't know if that will ease as it kind of gets worn in a little bit, but we shall see. So shop updates. as I say, it's sort of winding down now. I've done my last releases for the year, which was last Friday, my last new releases. It was going to be one. And then when I made that one, I thought, this is a gorgeous scent, but it's actually quite similar to one I already have. So I had a kind of backup scent that I'd made. So I released that as well and explained to people exactly what they smelled like so that people knew. And then a lot of people seemed to be interested to try that one anyway. Because I said it was called Sweet Cuddles, and the description of it when I bought it and how it smelled in the bottle was sort of lots of different fruits and a slightly coconutty scent. But then when I actually made it up, you really got the lime and the coconut coming through very strongly, but in a sort of sweet, softer version. But I have a coconut lime scent already, so yeah, I didn't want to just do that one. So I also did Fresh Mountain Air, which seemed popular with people. So those were my last releases for the year. I was differing about what to do over Christmas because obviously I'm away and normally I do close the shop at those times. But I figured also it'll probably be quite quiet. So I think what I'm going to do is leave the shop open but change my processing time to a longer period. So yeah, if anyone wants to place any orders over the Christmas period, you should find the shops open. Unless, you know, things shift and that feels sustainable and I have to change it. And then I will be opening back up again with new releases on the 5th of January. I've been working out today which one that's going to be and ordering my labels and that kind of thing. Wow, these ABs really do not want to come out. So I'll do that. And then what I have announced recently, and I don't think I've said it on here, but please excuse me if I'm repeating myself. What I'm going to do after that is shift to doing 2 new releases every 2 weeks rather than 1 release every week. I mean, not literally every week, but most weeks since I started the shop, I have done a new release. And I'm going to do every 2 weeks, 2 new releases. It's for a couple of reasons. I mean, it does help me because it helps me to manage my workflow a bit better. It means that not every Saturday is spent packing up orders from release days, and you know, it makes it a little easier if we have plans for a weekend and that kind of thing. But mainly, I just thought it would help customers because I have some very loyal customers who like to try, you know, the majority, if not all, of my new scents. So they're paying postage most weeks. So I figured this way they can just pay the postage once every couple of weeks and get 2 cents for it. Because the postage is the same, however much you order. So yeah, people seemed to think that was a good idea. And then the other thing that I've announced in my Facebook group that I'm doing, and you are, by the way, welcome to join my Facebook group, even if you're not a customer of me. It is linked in the description box always. Is that every month I am going to do a Members' Choice putty because people give me suggestions for putties and I have used plenty of suggestions, but in quite a kind of, sorry, I've got a bit of excess putty on that single placer. I have used them, but in a fairly sort of haphazard way. And I thought that it would be good to do that in a slightly more organised way and give people the chance to really have some say about what I'm bringing out. So probably the last scent release for each month will be the Members' Choice one. And I've already done the posts for it for January. So I put up a post and had people put on their scent suggestions. And then for any that I could find a good oil that sounded a lot like what had been put on there, I put up a poll and people voted. So people have voted and there is a winner. There were a couple that were really popular. So I've said, you know, do suggest them another month. Also, I may just bring out some of those other scents that did well on the poll but didn't win at other times, because obviously, you know, it's useful for me to know what scents are going to be appealing to people. So yeah, it just means that in general I'll shift towards more often bringing out scents that I know people want. And I also said that the person who suggests the winning scent will get a free putty for it. So yeah, worth joining in if you like putty and you have scents that you're looking for, to see if you can be the person that wins that free putty. So yeah, single release on the 5th of January, and then I'm doing one 2 weeks later, and that timing is very deliberate because my birthday is on the 11th of January and I have plans on that weekend. We are having a party, which again, I keep feeling like I've maybe said things before that I'm going over today, so I'm very sorry if this is repetitive. You'll have to excuse my sleepy self. But yeah, we're having a party because we're both turning 40. It seemed like the thing to do. There's some of that one. That's so annoying. Why am I being so bad at picking them all today? In terms of what else I have been doing, I feel like the answer to that is not a huge amount. I have been watching Bad Girls still. I have finally finished that series. I think there were 8 seasons, and then it finished, like, not with a cliffhanger or anything, but it didn't really seem to have a big finale either. So I don't know if maybe they didn't know that they were finishing when they finished, but by the by. I've watched all that now, and then after some deliberation about what to watch next, I have gone for a rewatch of The Originals. So The Originals was a spin-off from Vampire Diaries, which is a series I really enjoy and have already watched probably 2 or 3 times. But I've only actually watched The Originals through once, so I thought it would be interesting to rewatch that. And then I have finally finished the second book in the... Oh, I'm going to get the name wrong now because I get everyone confused. I think it's Sarah J. Maas, Throne of Glass? I'm so bad with names. Anyway, a friend recommended them to me, and I really enjoyed the first and the second, although they're quite slow to get going because they're really big, long books. Well, audiobooks is how I've listened to them. But the third one really I got stuck on for a long time, and I feel like that's been months and months and months that I've not been listening to audiobooks much because I wasn't really feeling grabbed by that one, but I didn't want to give up. So I've eventually got through that one. And my friend did say that she also found that one a bit slower, but later ones had been better. So I will persevere. I will go on to the next in the series soon, but I'm just having a little break from that, and I might maybe switch to something else that I haven't had time to listen to for a while because of that. I've still got Slayers, the sort of Buffyverse spin-off that I want to listen to, and I just want to check some of my other favourite authors to listen to audiobooks from, see if I've missed any releases, that kind of thing. And I've been just enjoying a lot of YouTube recently. I do go in phases with all these things. I've been watching old Derren Brown programs that have all been uploaded on YouTube, which is a bit random, but I do find him fascinating. I don't know if people will know who that is. I don't know how much his stuff has gone beyond the UK, but he's basically a... what would you describe him as? Not really an illusionist. It's more like he plays psychological tricks, and he's open about that. So he sort of presents a little bit like a psychic or that kind of thing sometimes, but he says he's not. He says that for him it's reading people and psychological mind tricks and that kind of thing. So I watched a really interesting one on the weekend where he was following someone who did claim to be psychic and trying to see if they seemed legit. And I don't know. I think probably that particular psychic did not come across as being very genuine at the end of that. I don't want to offend anyone, you know, it's not something that really does it for me, but I know a lot of people do believe in that kind of thing, and that's cool. But this particular guy came across as someone who was reading people and kind of cheating a bit. Like, there was one person that he sort of did a reading for, and he said, oh, I'm getting something about a mini, like the mini car for you. And she was like, oh yeah, I do drive a mini. And then someone else on the production team said, she pulled up next to him in her mini before we got started. Like, yeah, mate, you're not legit, are you? So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And then the rest of this week, as I said, I've got 3 days till we go away, which isn't really a long time. I'm going to hopefully see some friends tomorrow. A friend who I used to spend a lot of time with, but now because of just work and the kids being in different schools and that kind of thing, we don't get a chance to see each other very often. But her and her daughter are probably coming over to our house tomorrow afternoon. And then Friday, I imagine it's just going to be panicking and packing. I tend to find that kind of thing quite stressful. I will put my hands up now, knowing that my son and husband are not listening, and say that I know I will probably be quite grouchy, because I tend to be at times like that, because I get quite stressed about how much there is to do. And yeah, it helps that it doesn't particularly matter what time we leave on Saturday. We don't have to get there for anything. We did think that we were going to be doing something with a sister, but then she realised she'd double booked herself. So we're just getting there to get there. So if it takes us most of the day to get there, it's fine. And it's only a sort of 2.25 hour journey. Obviously traffic depending, and the roads will be busy. But I guess with Christmas being on a Monday this year, the traffic will be quite well spread out over the weekend, I would think. That's my hope anyway. So yeah, I just feel sad about leaving the cats for 6 days. Even knowing that we've got a brilliant cat sitter and they'll be in such good hands, it just, yeah, I feel bad. I have cameras to monitor them. I have one that I've had in the living room for a while that our cat sitter actually gave us because she doesn't need it anymore. So like, she totally knows they're there and doesn't mind in the slightest. And I got a different one to go in our bedroom, because that's another place they often go. And I've got them set up to let me know if they detect movement. So I had them on this weekend when we were away at my in-laws' house. And yeah, it's nice to see them at different times and see for myself that they're okay. I did embarrass myself though. So I think it was Sunday morning, it triggered and I saw that Harry was sitting on our bed settling in for a nap. So I spoke to him through the monitor, and then I got a message from my cat sitter saying, oh, I heard that, that's so cute. I was like, no, that's really embarrassing. Crazy cat lady. I mean, she doesn't judge me because she's also a crazy cat lady, but I judged me. It's one thing talking to your cat in person. I would argue that's perfectly reasonable and normal, but I know a lot of people wouldn't. But talking to them through a cat monitor is, yeah, a little bit extra possibly. He seemed to really like it though. I worried that I'd freak him out, so I didn't do it for a while, and then I gave it a go, and he sort of looked really surprised and looked up and looked all around, and then just sort of laid down and purred and went to sleep. So I think he quite liked it. Got that in the wrong place. Just need to think through what's on my to-do list for the rest of today. I think mostly I need to get these videos edited and scheduled. I don't really want to be doing that over Christmas. I was going to make putty today, because, well, I just, you know, it's always the plan to keep getting things back in stock. But I think the problem is I've brought out so many scents now. So I look at the list of all the things that are out of stock and think, oh my gosh, I've got too much out of stock. But then I look at the box of how much I've got made up and I think, well, I've got plenty. So yeah, I just need to have a bit of a mentality shift, because at the end of the day, I thought, you know what, I don't fancy doing it this morning and I don't need to, more importantly. If I needed to do it, I would do it. But I have got plenty of stock in to have this day off. So yeah, I have done. And that's why I thought I'd sit down and do this instead, because I knew this wouldn't really get done any other time. And I already missed one video last week when I just didn't have time to film anything. And like, I know none of you will yell at me or particularly miss me if I miss the odd video here and there, but I do like to minimize it as much as possible, as much for my own kind of motivation and just desire to be consistent as anything. As usual, I have not paid attention to when I sat down to do this, so I have no idea how long I've been rambling on for. And I can feel myself running out of things to talk about, so I may have to leave that there, maybe, and finish this last colour off camera. I think I've chatted on for at least 40 minutes or so. I'm sure you'll forgive me for finishing there. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you have enjoyed hearing all about my my December and all my goings on. Yeah, I'll put this up at the end of December, and then we're into January and all that brings. I'll be doing my quarterly review video at the start of January. I don't do an annual review video at the end of December like most people, so YouTube will be filled with those videos, which I love to watch myself. I'll just do my normal quarterly review video, and then I do my annual review in April at the end of a full year of diamond painting for me. So this April it will be 3 years of diamond painting, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, that will be coming up in January. And yeah, not quite sure what else yet. I've got some plans, but yeah, we shall see. So I hope that you have all had an absolutely fantabulous Christmas if you were celebrating, or hopefully at least a bit of rest and relaxation if you're not someone who celebrates Christmas. And I will hopefully see you again soon. Bye bye.